This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there guys, welcome to another vlog and another game. Murdered Soul Suspect, which I was looking forward to for ages. I love, as I said in the intro to this channel, I do love a great story game. So when I saw this game coming around and I saw sort of interviews and clips and E3 footage of what they were doing, I was really excited about it. And the big doubt for everybody that saw the stuff was that we weren't seeing a huge amount of the gameplay, and we weren't sure whether it was going to be really interesting enough, or, you know, I think there's always this concern with games that aren't shooters and aren't action games, and it's been proven time and time again that you don't have to run around shooting people in the face to have fun in games. We didn't used to have it on all the old consoles, you know. Well, we did, but they were very basic. So a lot of games were done in very different ways, and I like the fact that a studio has gone out of its way to try and make a story-driven game that runs, I suppose, along the same lines as your Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain and those sorts of things. So it's a treat and a pleasure to see somebody doing it. The sad part is that since this game was made, launched and done, the studio that was primarily concerned, I think, has closed down, which is really sad, because I know Square Enix published it, but it was another studio, I think, that actually developed it. So that I was really sad to hear that, because had this game done better, I think they would have probably gone on to do a second one, but I don't think they interested enough people in the game before it came out. And I think to some extent, I think publishers have to be wiser and quicker on the mark to say, do you know what, I think this as an IP may not be sellable at full whack. You know, I think we're going to have to sell this game at possibly, you know, £20 instead of £40, or £25 instead of £40, and just work it, just say as a new IP, that's the way we're going to do it. There's far too many developers closing down that have made decent games. And I think part of the problem is that people don't have money to waste in the main part. So I think the publishers, I think, probably have more of a say, in the people in suits need to have a really long, hard think about the fact, do they want to be sticklers for 40 quid a game, or do you want to shift volume and solidify your place for a second game that people will then buy, and it will become a bigger product? So I really hope that whoever's responsible in the gaming market start having a really good long hard think about how they can stop the developers going under, because they're making sometimes good games, sometimes great games, but there's sometimes they just don't sell the quantities they want them to, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. You know, it's a hard game to be in, developing software for games and such like. So I don't know what the answers are, but I think the publishers and the developers have to have a good long hard think about what their contingency plan is if they don't shift the volumes that they'd hope to. You know, don't just sit there with it at £40 on the shelf and expect people to just start picking it up because you're sitting praying for them to do it. You know, drop the price, do something to shift the quantities. So anyway, back to the game itself. I love the gameplay in this. There isn't any shooting people in the face, there isn't any running around, there isn't, I mean, you can run to an extent, but the main purpose of this game is that and this isn't a spoiler because it's the very beginning of the game, and the whole point of the game is you're dead. So you die at the beginning of the game, and it's your soul that's trying to solve your own murder. And in the process of that, you are finding out, obviously, a lot of things that have gone on, a lot of other murders, and there's lots of little sort of side quests while you're wandering around investigating areas. There's other people, other souls that are kind of lost and looking for help, and you have to. Well, you don't have to actually. You don't have to do them if you don't want to. But I did them all as it happened, all the ones I found. So they have a little story of, oh, well, something was going on, and some of them don't realise they're dead, I don't think, and then others do, but they want to know what happened. It was like, oh my God, I did something really wrong, but you have to go and sort of help them discover what it was that happened before they died. So all of that was really, really interesting, and I loved it. You investigate areas basically where you're looking around for pieces of clues and highlighting them, and then you've in your menu area you've got a place where you can when you get enough clues, you can piece them all together. What I didn't like so much was there wasn't really a way to fail. It was almost like they were so worried that people wouldn't buy this game, ironically, that they didn't make it difficult. I mean, had they made it difficult, you might have got every person that liked puzzle games or every person that liked mystery games picking the damn thing up. But as it was, I think, probably rightly, they thought, well, we're going to make it a bit more of a game that everybody can play. I mean, for me, for my liking, they could have had a separate setting that was like, this is, you've got to solve them without any help, or you've got to solve them without failing to match things and that sort of thing. So, to a greater extent, I think they could have thought that through a little bit more, but, so you piece all these facts together and then you can get the end result of that little piece of story that you were helping someone with, or it moves you on progressively in the story to the next chapter. The acting was beautiful as well. I really liked the acting in it from the main guy and the sidekick, the sort of girl character that comes into it. I thought they were great. I thought it was really, you really felt connected to them and you really wanted to see them, you know, through to the end and see them succeed. And there was a beautiful, well, I loved the gameplay sections where you can actually hide in sort of, I think they called them glimmers of people's souls, so it was almost like a glimmer, sort of like a cloud even, in the shape of a body, sort of all scattered around rooms. And in order to avoid demons who can actually absorb your soul, and that's how you die in this game, you can sharpshoot yourself into these and you've got to skip around the room and avoid them. But they can see you, but you've got to try and, if you can hide in the souls, they can't really kind of guess where you are and you can hide there. If they get too close, they can kind of figure it out, so you've got to keep jumping around. And it never grew old with these demons. They always freaked me out. They were quite scary. They were like this horrible shrieking noise they made when they saw you, and so that was really cool, and it was like a sneak element to levels. And there was sort of soul stuff that came out of the floor that stopped you going to certain areas and what have you. So there's some very, very cool stuff in it. I think in the main part, I didn't know why some areas were... Because as a ghost, obviously, you can walk through walls and go pretty much anywhere you like, but they'd come up with this, you know, oh, those areas aren't accessible because of some random reason that I can't even remember now. It was probably so lame. But it just... a bit harsh. But it just smelt of like, oh, we can't have it that big, or they'll be going everywhere in the whole world, and we can't make an everywhere in the whole world game. So they just came up with this random excuse as to why you couldn't go through that particular door or that particular wall. So that was a bit of a shame, because, but I think that was just partly because of possibly the size of budget they had, possibly the time they had to build the thing, and did they really need it to be that much bigger anyway, because the story's quite linear anyway. So so yeah, some of the environments are beautiful as well. You know, there was a beautiful graveyard section and a sort of barn sort of section toward the end of that, and you're in a museum, and you're everywhere just looked fantastic. There was a really odd, you know, I don't mind an Easter egg as much as the next geek, but you went into the police station and every single computer in the police station just about had a Deus Ex. Well, whether it was meant to be a wallpaper or whether it was meant to be Deus Ex the game, I've no idea, but it was like, well, you know, come on, I don't mind the odd one having it, because it's like, oh, look, you know, Deus Ex, and then like the 50th time later, it's like, all right, maybe not. It didn't have to be that much. Anyway, it's a tiny gripe. Yeah, so all in all, I absolutely loved it. I loved the story, I loved the acting, I loved the gameplay, I loved the pace. I loved the fact that I wasn't feeling frantic playing this game. I didn't feel like I was sort of rushing around all the time, and that change of pace for me is an absolute necessity in gaming. I don't want to feel like I have to, as I say, shoot people in the face or kill or annihilate things and blow things up all of the time. It's nice to have a game where you can just enjoy it and just flow with it and just go at its pace. So yeah, absolutely, I would absolutely recommend that game. Without any shadow of a doubt, give that a go. You'll probably get it at a really good price now, because sadly the people that made it is no more. I doubt we'll ever see another one, which is a real shame, because it's actually one of the games I've enjoyed the most since the new consoles came out. That's actually available for all consoles, I think, so you can get that on... I played it on PS4, but you can get it on Xbox 360 and PS3 as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. That's my opinion of Murdered Soul Suspect. Absolutely give it a go, and you take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.